Okay, well, thank you. As you said, Anna Draper, I spent 27 years in public education. So I have been a teacher and administrator at the campus level, academic dean, and district administrator where I oversaw the legal compliance of 504. So 504 is my baby, and I've spent a lot of time in special ed. So from my perspective and what I train staffs, I actually went to law school because I got tired of hitting the walls in public ed and telling parents, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And then being told in my office, well, you can't say those things because you're not an attorney. And so I said, well, I'll become one. And so I went through the night school program here at St. Mary's. And thanks to pandemic, I could finish in 3.5 years. So I was very happy about that. And then once I got my degree and passed the bar, I retired. And I opened up my own law firm. I do represent school districts, so I'm on the opposite side at things because I'm a teacher. I am a teacher. That is my passion. My passion is kids. And my passion is that we can fix systems within the system and we can work as a team. I am an athlete. That's how I got through school. You can tell by my height, I'm a tall person. And so I always believe in team. I believe in collaboration, and I believe that everyone in the room brings a value. And so that's how I trained my teams when I was at the district level. And I spend a lot of my time right now going all over the state, training IEP teams, training 504 teams, training coordinators. It's not a battle that the parent says they're bringing an advocate. You welcome the advocate. You welcome any person that wants to come into a room and speak about a child in a very positive way. And so I always talk about kindness and open ears. And I actually walk them through strategies to help them to have those difficult conversations. Because I will tell you, my son is also a teacher. My family members are teachers. We're a family of educators. At no time have I ever met an educator personally, and this is just me, and maybe I'm lucky and fortunate. I'm not going to say that those people don't exist that didn't get into education to help a child. Their heart was there at some point. Now it could have faded, it could have gone different directions. There's life, there's things that happen. But so my job always is to get back to why you got into it and figure out how everybody in the room can be a voice for that child, and also to empower the teachers to speak up when their administrators tell them to be quiet. Because I know that happens. Okay. And so I put together a little handout just to give to you. Basically, I give a full day presentation on this where we talk about how what you say matters. Being prepared for the meeting matters. Your nonverbal cues in the meeting matter. And so I come from the perspective of, okay, you're my teacher, you're coming into the ARD or IEP meeting, or you're coming into the 504 meeting. You have to be prepared because that parent just took off work. Okay. You may have 50 students in your classroom or 150 students you deal with all day because you're a high school teacher. That parent has one child. And I always say, this is their Super Bowl. This is their state champion. This is everything to them. And you owe it to them to be prepared in that meeting, to come with the information, to have good conversation, not just random conversation, to not be on your phone, to be dressed appropriately, because we have to always talk about Zoom meetings now. And I'm going to be the first. I get super offended in any Zoom meeting where the camera is off or they're in their car. Or they're not. And I'm going to tell you, I have seen some really inappropriate dressing. And from the parent side and from the teacher side, I've seen some things. So that's another day, another story. But it's professional, and you want them to be respectful. And I always tell them, I go, you have one shot to build a relationship. Start from the very beginning. Every conversation, everything you have. And so I gave just a little handout what I would train staff on. And it's a 3-page document. It just says, don't say we don't do that. Don't say that, because you already started a negative conversation. It's not going to go well for you. It's not going to go well for the parent. Nobody leaves happy. So how can we say that in a better way? And I'm going to tell you, my son is an alternative certified teacher. So where is his training? It's not from the colleges. He didn't get it. We're in such a teacher shortage that the teachers coming into the room don't have those skills. And so they don't know. And he means well, but he'll say, well, that kid did this. I'm like, no, no, no. The kid has a name. And what happened? Why did it happen? Have those conversations. Those are skills that we don't teach enough of anymore. I like getting to yes. I read the book multiple times. And so I believe in the skill of negotiating, but also The Power of Nice is another great book. And there is so much to be said on just being nice and being present. So it's just a little handout and just a little perspective. I'm a different in the setting of law. I'm very proactive. I do think you can reduce a lot of lawsuits, you can reduce a lot of litigation, you can reduce a lot of due processes if everybody in the room gave the respect to everybody in the room. And you didn't have to have the roadblocks. And I truly believe we can fix that from the inside out. And that's kind of like my mission. So that's why I represent districts, but I do give a lot of parent conferences. I give a lot of support out there because I'm not, again, we're all on the same team. We're a team student. So that's my perspective. That's what I can offer to anybody. I can give you my perspective on the discipline stuff. I mean, I know the discipline stuff really well too, because I deal with it. My husband is still a district administrator and he oversees the placement of students into the juvenile system and into the alternative education system. So we converse a lot on how we can be proactive and to prevent that. And I also spend a lot of my volunteer time with the juvenile system on how can we help kids who are stuck in the system and it's just a vicious cycle. So I do have a passion to help on that. So I'm sure we can answer questions. I know we're behind, so I'm not going to go into great detail about everything else, but that's just a nutshell of what I can bring to you. If you have questions about the teacher side, I can tell you the majority of the time, the teacher coming in the room is probably more scared of you than you are of them. And it's very true. They would call me and they would like, hey, we have this advocate, and we knew all the advocates by name. We knew. And I'm like, great, she brings donuts. So let's go. And she did. Every time she came to me, she came from the best bakery we had, and there they were. And I'm like, this is gonna be wonderful. And I was like, if you listen to her, she brings wisdom. So just listen. Yes.
So I have an eighth grader in sixth grade. He's already has like a small life because he was a psychiatrist, PCP, the dentist, there, all say here. But school won't because he doesn't meet the school qualifications and Marion ISD. Pulled me aside literally. She's the behavior teacher, said, Marla, fight for him. I'm not talking to you as Mrs. Stoddard, I'm talking to you. Like that's what I'm doing. But I get so freaking tired because I'm one person.
Right.
But now I'm two. But it's frustrating.
I support that. It is frustrating. I've had a lot of parents ask me the same thing.
And then during COVID, my now 17-year-old, he was on Zoom during COVID. I literally said, Jordan, pay attention to the computer. They called CPS on me.
Well, I'm going to interrupt for a second. Two reasons. One, we're going to try not to talk about personal experiences in front of everybody, but definitely talk about it later. We'll hold on. Okay. We're not going to forget you. And he's got to go. So any last moment questions we're going to have to send to him via email, but I really want to give my personal and professional thanks to you and your wife and your team for being here today. I know you spent the last 3-4 days. So that's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And for you to come here today before these people here, before the people watching virtually means a lot to us. So
well, I think it's great what you have done getting this whole thing going. You've been really spearheaded, and you and I have been known each other, been friends for I feel like it's 30 or 40 years since the very beginning when they passed passed law.
we share that we both had open heart surgery.
Oh yeah.
So he was my mentor during that period. So
they went there, took the couple of sternum in half. So whatever. Yep.
Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. We're going to thank Pete. Let's take, well, no, Anna's still here. Let's keep going with Anna for the next couple minutes. And then we're going to have to talk to everybody else who's here. We can figure things, frankly. But thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
we're gonna keep going with that.
I'll do my best.
No, take time.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not gonna talk about personal experience, but maybe there are other advocates in the room that can back me up. And that is when you've been in multiple school districts
Mhm.
in Texas, you start to see patterns.
Yep.
And you know that some of what the R committee is telling you is not coming from the teachers, it's coming from an administrator or administration that has told them what to say. So what kind of advice do you have when, you know, teachers, you can tell that they're in that position as an advocate? Do you have any insight into those types of situations?
I do. And I know what you're talking about because there is nothing that happens on a campus where they haven't contacted their district leader to get guidance. And then the leader said, well, you're going to do this, this, and this. And then even maybe they may send like an area coordinator or somebody from an assistant to go sit in the meeting to basically toe the line for the district, right? At least that's how we were told to do it. And you're giving direction but you should still be listening. And that's not happening. And so it's the roadblock. And that is where we need to empower more of our teachers to speak up. I will tell you, this is one of the things that I noticed in working in the district is that the teachers don't know the rules. So, and I mean that very kindly and also very like disheartening in that we've done a disservice to our teachers that we have not embraced them to understand the rules so that they could tell the person in the room, no, this is what happened. So what I guide parents who have come to me and they have their advocate and they've said, hey, and this is when I was in my district level position, they're like, they're not listening to me. And I said, okay, well, when you're in that meeting, ask the people in the room that you know this stuff. You as a parent, ask the questions. Because they're going to answer, get it on record what they're answering. Like they're documenting, they're keeping notes. And I would always guide them, ask the questions in the room, encourage them to speak. The teacher may still not speak because they've probably been told you're going to be quiet in that meeting and you're not allowed to talk. And that could happen. So that's where also where Mr. Wright talked about the data that's in the room. You have that data too. So then you can just ask a question about the data. Again, that's stirring up that conversation to get the teacher. The teacher's going to say, oh yeah, I did write that note. Oh yes, that it was about that assignment. Because you're going to have to circle the room because the other one from the district is pushing the initiative of the district. And that's going to be a bigger obstacle. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen because it will. But you start by navigating the roles in the room. I've sat in meetings where literally as a 504 director, I was called in just because the parent could get the special ed side to listen. And I told her, she called me, she's like, they keep telling me this is what's going to happen. They wanted to move her child who is has cerebral palsy and he is a quadriplegic and brilliant IQ. I mean, brilliant. He makes perfect score on STAR, but they wanted him in ALE because that would have been easier for them. And they were forcing that movement and they wanted to make a goal for him. And so the district person was going, I said, well, it sounds like it's a 504 issue. It sounds like they're discriminating. Do you need the director of 504 present? And literally that's it. She invited me to the meeting and lo and behold, it was just asking specific guided questions. So honestly, getting those questions together, even working with the teacher, because I will tell you the teachers are on your side. The majority of them are. The majority are. And they're there. They work with your student. They know what's going on. They're there, but you got to get them to feel comfortable to be the voice and to know that they can be heard. And hopefully, as we start retraining our new teachers and the new people in the profession, we can empower them to speak up for the students a little bit better. I mean, there's so much litigation now. So I don't know if that answers you, but I have seen it. And the only way I can get around it, even in my situation and to help parents, is get everyone in the room to talk. Yes, ma'am.
A bit off topic, but I assist families, kinship, grandparents, caregivers,
Okay.
to help them on the legal side of it, to enroll students into classrooms. I want an answer from you because you've worked with Northside. NISD is the worst district when it comes to this. Why do they require a separate power of attorney to get students involved? No other district does that, but
The power of attorney for the attendance to show address?
for them to be enrolled. I mean, it's an easy McKinney-Vento, but for some reason NISD still require, even if they already had a power of attorney, NISD requires a second one, which is their power of attorney.
Yeah. So I can't speak, I don't do that part of it. I can't speak to why they do that. I mean, they're within their reason to do that. And if they have the McKinney-Vento paperwork, that's gonna trump it. But, yeah. I wish I could answer that more specific to you, but not in my arena that I worked. Yes, ma'am.
Even though I'm facilitator coordinators, I've had great experiences with them, but I feel like as an advocate, they always have a problem. Do you know, like, what's the procedure for that? Like, why do they bring them in? How are they trained?
So I do know some districts that do use the facilitator or coordinator, some of them, that's gone away just because of funds. I actually like them being there. They're trained. They actually are supposed to take more of a neutral role. And it's a lot easier for the parents. So I like it in the districts that I have seen that use it. It's definitely a choice. I mean, some of them have their area coordinators and they'll be the facilitator or coordinator. To me, that's not neutral. But they have resources, they're more involved. But I do like that some districts have gone to that position because I think it does remove the personal maybe connection that the staff is making and separates that to where they can just literally look at the facts.
Right? I'm like, and they facilitate, they move it through quickly.
Yes.
I'm wondering, you know, did that come around?
No, and smaller districts do it. Bigger districts don't. I really prefer that position. I hope they will keep funds to support that. Yes,
Last
ma'am.
question on this topic. Go ahead. You got it.
This year, so they're starting to bring that because so that they're impactful in our.
Mhm. Good.
Okay, let's take 5, everybody, while we configure our last hour here. Okay, thank you so much. Anna, great job.